Do you, so welcome to Foundations of Global Health. Can we go to the next slide?
This is also the sixth annual Dr. Mani Modale Mani International Educational Exchange and Partnerships presentation.
This special presentation that is given under Foundations of Global Health and to honor Dr. Mani Mani is part of a larger week of celebration called International Education Week. International Education Week, which is November 18th to the 22nd, is an opportunity to celebrate the benefits of international education and exchange worldwide. This joint initiative of the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education is part of our efforts to promote programs that prepare Americans for a global environment and attract future leaders from abroad to study, learn, and have exchange experiences. International education is all about expanding horizons, making connections, and establishing mutual understanding between people in the United States and other countries. To sum it up, we want you to explore opportunities to engage in an IEE, International Educational Experience, explore exchange programs for international students to come to the United States, explore fields of study that need bright minds, including STEM, explore the great minds that are changing the world after having been part of the U.S. exchange programs, explore languages and cultures new to you, and explore all of the opportunities international education offers. Foundations of Global Health series is an area for study, research, and practice that places a priority on improving health and achieving equity in health for all people worldwide. Global health emphasizes translational health issues, determinants, and solutions, involves many disciplines within and beyond the health sciences, and promotes interdisciplinary collaboration, and is a synthesis of population-based prevention with individual-level clinical care. We offer presentations by different individuals who are involved in global health. And these series are advertised weekly by Alexa Smith. So look for our events calendars to see when the other ones are coming up. Next slide. So as we said, this is a special presentation to honor Dr. Mani Modale Mani, who passed away 2 years ago. He was a great mentor to many of us on how to engage in global health. He understood fair trade collaboration and fair trade partnerships before the term was created. And he always encouraged us to learn from others and to not engage with the idea that we had the solutions or we were going to go solve problems, but rather global health problems are for all of us to engage together in partnership, in collaboration, and looking together to solve those problems. There's a famous quote that Dr. Mani always used in his presentations, and I'm going to read that to you before we pass it over to Lisa. He said, "Go to the people, live among them, learn from them, love them. Start with what they know, build on what they have. But of the best leaders, when their task is accomplished, the people will remark, we've done it ourselves."
Our presenter today is Dr. Lisa Trujillo. She joined the School of Health Professions faculty in the summer of 2018 after a long tenure in higher education and clinical service in Utah. She earned a doctorate in health science with emphasis in global health from Nova Southeastern University in 2013 and a master's degree in respiratory care leadership from Northeastern University in 2009 after receiving her undergraduate degrees from Weber State University's respiratory care program. In June 2023, Trujillo was appointed chair of the Department of Respiratory Care and Diagnostic Science after serving as vice chair since 2022. Pursuing unique opportunities abroad continues to be a major focus and area of interest for Trujillo. She discusses respiratory therapy care and many other health-related topics in regular presentations to staff and students at colleges and healthcare institutions in Ghana. Her travels have also taken her to Tanzania, Ethiopia, and China, among others. In addition, she presents extensively to domestic audiences on international healthcare and education, humanitarian efforts, and other topics of increasing importance to health around the world. Now, Dr. Trujillo.
Okay, thank you, Alexa and Kimberly. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today and to speak about something that is very close to my heart. So I'm going to pull up my slides if you give me just a moment. And I'm hopeful that you're seeing what you're supposed to see at this point. If I can have a thumbs up, lovely.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I have to say I was very humbled to be selected to make this presentation today in honor of Dr. Mani Mani. As a new individual to KUMC in 2018, I don't have the breadth of history with Dr. Mani Mani before his passing, but I certainly knew of him and had a few years of opportunity to be, I guess, among others in meetings and be present and learn from him in maybe a less personal way. But I've also heard many of those of you who are on this call speak of him and certainly his reputation, and it precedes him, and he's definitely a pillar of global engagement, not only for the KUMC campus, but for individuals and facilities and organizations across the globe. So again, I say welcome to all of you. The lecture today is reflecting on our own journey and inspiring others to begin. This draws inspiration from the extraordinary legacy of Dr. Mani Mani. His unwavering dedication to mentorship, innovation, and service serves as a guiding light for all of us. During an InMed lecture in August of 2020, Dr. Mani Mani shared reflections on his time as a medical student at the Christian Medical College in South India. He described walking into the main hospital entrance daily, where the poem that was displayed on the wall, and I believe Kimberly just read this, and I love that it was woven into your introduction as well. And it's titled Serving the Forgotten. Dr. Mani's legacy truly reflects the spirit of this poem. His passion and commitment were focused on mentoring and empowering individuals worldwide, helping them develop sustainable solutions tailored to the unique needs of their communities. He achieved this mission by combining respect, unwavering conviction, and occasional light humor in his approach. I have to say, I watched a number of recordings of him, and the picture that I made, the largest one on this screen, has that just captivating smile, and you can really see the warmth from his soul, at least in my impression. So I thought that would be a good way for us to start, especially in remembrance of him. I've also included in here a picture with his devoted wife, Rebecca, who passed away in July of 2020. Rebecca was also educated at the Christian Medical College and joined Dr. Mani at KUMC in 1974 as a registered dietitian specializing in renal disease. So as we start our time together today, I'd like you to take a moment and reflect on your own beginning in international engagement. We're all in various stages of our own journey, many of which have a global component of some kind. Take a moment to think about your own beginning. Was it a person? Was it an experience? Or was it an organization that set you on your path? As I share my journey, keep yours in mind. Think about the various stages along the way. Who or what inspired you to begin, to grow, to expand, and to explore? Consider those that you've engaged with throughout your journey. Where are they now? Who might have been inspired to begin their journey because of their contact with you? You may have inspired individuals without even realizing it. And some of these individual connections, whether brief or indirect, may have resulted in growth or possibly a shift of a trajectory because of their interaction with you. This image captures a transformative spark of curiosity that started when I was a teenager. And I have to draw attention to this cute little black and white picture in the middle of the screen. Sorry, this is very close to home. This is my dad. So growing up, my father participated in exchanges as a city representative with Germany, immersing our family in a world beyond our borders. Our home became a vibrant hub, hosting international students from Germany and Switzerland and Austria for weeks and months at a time. Each of these guests brought with them fascinating stories, unique perspectives, and a slice of their homeland. The annual German-themed Winter Festival in Ogden dates back to 1976, where my dad served as a city council member. He reinvigorated the Sister City program with a new winter festival called the Hof Winter Carnival to honor Ogden's Sister City partnership with Hof. Sister City program was created as part of President Dwight Eisenhower's People to People program in 1956. Today, Hof and Ogden have the oldest and most successful Sister City partnership to emerge from the People to People program. The excitement of getting to know individuals from across the globe left an indelible mark on me. It opened my eyes to the richness of culture exchange and the vastness of the world beyond Liberty Avenue in Ogden, Utah. From that early age, I knew my life needed to be filled with meaningful experiences, connecting with people from all walks of life and corners of the globe. This image embodies that pivotal realization, a moment when my world grew infinitely larger and more inspiring. So I have to tell you, back to the little black and white picture. There's a hill in Ogden, Utah called 25th Street. And normally there's a lot of snow in Utah, especially in January. So my dad had planned to have this little opportunity for people to ski down 25th Street because there's usually a lot of snow. And it was an unseasonable January, and there was not a lot of snow. So he had to have dump trucks bring snow from parking lots from around the city to actually put this ski hill together. And he had, the little sweatshirts that I skied Ogden's 25th Street. So just a little reflection, and he's got his cute little German hat on, doesn't he? So anyway, that's kind of who my dad is, and that's largely where my love for international engagement was initially derived. As an adult, I had opportunity to travel to Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic. This deepened the passion for exploration that was sparked in my youth. Each journey offered a chance to immerse myself in rich tapestry of diverse cultures, languages, foods, and histories. These experiences were not just about visiting places, but truly living them. Through affordable and meaningful exchanges, homestays, and connections with people who became lifelong friends. And the graphic here really represents the very important components that I watched my father put into the exchanges that he established and fostered with individuals from around the world. My father's legacy during these travels was evident during these travels. Over the years, he facilitated approximately 4,000 individuals through his work with various groups and organizations. His dedication to fostering relationships across borders instilled in me a profound acceptance for the richness of diversity. These immersive experiences weren't just vacations, they were pathways to understanding the beauty and of shared humanity. They showed me the power of building bridges across cultures, cultivating mutual respect, and cherishing the connections that unite us no matter how different our lives may seem. As an early educator, I had a different set of experiences. Through my former institution, Weber State University, I had the unique opportunity to visit Xi'an, China, marking my first exposure to healthcare delivery in an international setting. This experience proved transformative as I observed a notable absence in their healthcare team structure. As a respiratory therapist, there were no counterparts to my role that were the same as in the U.S. healthcare system. This observation led me to explore several key questions. How was respiratory care services being delivered? What professional roles existed that were filling these needs? And what resources, both material and educational, were available? The initial visit served as a catalyst for a rich 7-year period for faculty and healthcare exchanges between our institutions. A particularly meaningful connection was formed with one of my dear friends, Dr. Newman's son, who uniquely bridged the world of anesthesia as an anesthesiologist in China and as a respiratory therapist in the United States. He had come to the US and was unable to use his license to practice as an anesthesiology, which he had done for 20 years in China. So this was many years ago. There was an avenue for him to sit for all the boards, of which he did. And then he was one of my colleagues working as a respiratory therapist in Utah. So our collaborative efforts culminated in the establishment of the first respiratory therapy education program in China at Xi'an Medical University, which welcomed an inaugural class of 72 students. And boy, we don't start quite that large here on our campus, but my goodness, they certainly embrace the opportunity, and that program is still in existence. Building on my experiences with my father and colleagues in China, I embraced a new opportunity when invited to Ghana. There, I encountered familiar challenges, significant gaps in respiratory care, similar to what I have observed in China. A pivotal alliance was formed with Dr. Audrey Forson, a respected pulmonologist and influential healthcare leader in Ghana. Through her championship, we established the first respiratory therapy program at the University of Ghana, graduating an inaugural class in 2019, just before the COVID pandemic emerged. And this is a picture of the first group. So I reined in my husband and my 2 kids and 7 of my students to blindly follow me to the other side of the planet. And that was really the starting of a lifelong passion for me. So there's a few slides that or pictures that are going to roll through as I share a little bit of information here. Our success in Ghana has created a powerful foundation of change. Part of this transformation has included the pioneering cohort of 9 graduates emerging as national leaders. They're pursuing advanced degrees, completing master's and doctoral degrees, making history as Ghana's first military respiratory therapist. 2 graduates have been selected as international fellows for the American Association for Respiratory Care, and they have spearheaded the development of the Ghana Association for Respiratory Care, of whom they also serve as officers of that new organization. And they have now established the African Respiratory Care Association. Over the past 18 years, over 300 interprofessional students and clinicians have visited Ghana with my teams for a very immersive experience. So this is the first graduating class. I was fortunate to travel there in 2019 and watch them walk the stage. The experience in Ghana has also been a catalyst for new opportunities, and one of which I want to just share. I know you really can't read this poster, and I don't expect that would be the case, but it is a reflection of the culminating efforts between myself, Ms. Dorothy Honey, and Dr. Esther Broby, both of whom are from the University of Ghana. We secured a COIL grant for innovation in global health, and we put together a community and global health course. So I teach that as a requirement for my students on campus. This was an opportunity for us to bring in individuals from Ghana on a weekly basis to join our discussions, share in the curriculum, and really share perspectives on very important topics of global health throughout our 16-week semester. We had 76 individuals that participated from 3 different countries. And if you can see that bottom left corner, there's a pie chart with lots of colors. That represents 23 different healthcare professions that were represented within the class from our virtual people that joined. We integrated our junior students, and one of the great things about this, the picture at the bottom, it culminated in a hands-on experience in Ghana. For some of our students were able to travel and meet the individuals that they had shared those 16 weeks with in the classroom. Expanding global impact has also trickled into other parts of my life. The momentum for our initial success, coupled with some inspiration from mentors, led to significant healthcare initiatives across multiple continents. In East Africa, I was able to spend time in Ethiopia, helping develop emergency response and education programs in partnership with Tibet Ambulance Service, and also to attend the African Union Summit with Dr. Karen Schell, where we showcased KUMC's respiratory care and innovations in respiratory care. In Tanzania, leading Helping Babies Breathe initiatives to train sustainable train the trainer programs in that part of the world. In the Middle East, I was able to visit Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, playing a role in the accreditation of their first bachelor degree program in respiratory therapy. Prior to this, most of the, or all of the respiratory therapists that are working in each of the Emirates came from either the United States or from the Philippines, and a few, I think, from Saudi. But with the establishment of this new training program in Abu Dhabi, they would then be able to train their own. And then this last picture is in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I was selected as a Fulbright specialist and was able to provide advanced respiratory care, some of which included training on mechanical ventilation. That's what I've got out in front of there, is teaching about the mechanical ventilator that they had, non-invasive positive pressure ventilation, and other respiratory techniques. From a personal standpoint, I have to say that my path has definitely been shaped by a mosaic of opportunities, each uniquely valuable. Some of the opportunities presented themselves clearly, well-defined, supported, established structures that made it easy to move forward with. Others emerged through the inspiration of mentors and colleagues requiring personal initiative to pursue. The most challenging were those that I pioneered independently, drawing on the confidence built through years of mentorship and support of others. I've learned that in the absence of a predetermined path does not necessarily signal impossibility. Rather, it often indicates an opportunity for meaningful innovation. These uncharted territories typically demand greater personal commitment, unwavering perseverance, significant investment of time and resources, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty. Yet I've discovered that these challenging endeavors often yield the most profound impacts and the richest rewards in collaboration and success. Looking back, I recognize these experiences as blessings that have shaped not only my career, but my understanding of what's possible when vision meets determination. Each step, whether clearly marked or newly blazed, has contributed to a journey far more rewarding than I could have imagined. So when I think about the commitment of time and resources, and likely the commitment of time and resources that Dr. Mani Mani and many others on this call have committed, if you try to dig a hole in a bucket of water, you never recognize the hole. It backfills completely. But by doing this, it illustrates that when you give of your time, money, resources in service, you're likely not to notice the loss but over time, your contributions enrich others and paradoxically fill your own bucket with meaning and purpose. In closing, I wanted to share this thought that through our thoughtful reflection on our personal paths, we gain insight and strength to empower others as they embark on their own journeys. Together, let's honor Dr. Mani Mani's vision and explore how our stories and our actions can inspire the next generation of leaders and change makers. I'd also like to say thank you to Kimberly and the Office of International Programs for inviting me to share a few words about my journey and about and reflecting on the memories of Dr. Mani Mani and his rich legacy that has clearly left an indelible mark on KUMC as well as across the globe. I'd also like to thank Dr. Kovac for his sponsorship of this named lecture in the memory of Dr. Mani Mani. I've had the pleasure to work with Dr. Kovac more and more over recent years, and I truly see that these are men cut from the same cloth. They have so many similarities in what I've learned about Dr. Mani Mani and what I have experienced with the kindness and commitment of Dr. Kovac. And with that, I say thank you, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lisa. A very beautiful, touching, rich presentation. Dina Kinwantan, he has his hand up. And I
Yes,
know you have to go to a meeting, so please.
yes, I do. Dr. Trujillo, uh, nobody could have done it better. I love what you did. And starting with your dad, I have always thought the best international ambassadors and who support international initiatives are those strongly motivated either by their parents or by individuals who have made a difference in their lives, or by something very profound. And you have gone the distance of confirming that today. I met and interacted with Dr. Mani, and he was such a beautiful soul, only to know that his strong motivation also drew from his mentor while he was at KU Mid Center. And he
Mhm,
has passed it on. And
mhm.
I am really happy that you've given such a wonderful presentation in memory of Dr. Mani. Wherever he is, he must be a happy man. And
Mm.
I
Thank
am
you again.
very appreciative of your last statement that Dr. Kovac and Dr. Mani probably came from the same material, and it is not surprising that Dr. Kovac sponsors this event. The picture you showed of your dad being past German and all those legacies and everything reminds me of how many stories Dr. Kovac tells me as well of his own path and his own past and his own link and history with his European ancestry and
Mm.
how he still volunteers in the museum here in Kansas. And I cannot tell how much he is committed, like Dr. Mani, to ensuring that it goes around. And again, I think he's visiting Ghana. I don't know what it is about Ghana, but Dr. Kovac's visit to Ghana profoundly changed him as well, and he's continued to do that. So I have to run to a meeting now, and you know what meeting it is, but I just could not help but say all of this and to say a big thank you to you for a fantastic presentation, but a big thank you as well to the living Dr. Mani amongst us, Tony Kovac. Thank you for your support and continued sponsorship of this event, and to the Office of International Programs, led by Kim, Alexa, Stacia, all of them, wonderful people. Thank you very much, and you have a very good afternoon.
Thank you, Dina Kinwantan. appreciate your being on. And I see that Dr. Kovac is on. And again, our gratitude to Dr. Kovac for sponsoring this particular special talk during International Education Week. Dr. Kovac, did you have a question or comment for Dr. Trujillo?
Well, I guess more just a comment, and that I think, as Dean Aquino Winton said, you've given a wonderful presentation, and I think the fact of tying in the spirit and words of Dr. Mani, because I know when we first started this out, I asked Kimberly, well, who at KUMC really embodies global health? And the first thing we both of us thought was Dr. Mani, and that was why we've started it. And you definitely have the spirit of global health. I really applaud you as well as Karen Schnell and how you have started these programs, respiratory therapy programs, like at the University of Ghana, really in the first in Africa. I mean, it's like, wow. And that you're continuing to other countries and I mean, and teaching in Asia, as well as now, I think, Honduras, to really spread the word of respiratory care, education, physician extenders, and your importance. And I admire what you're doing and really want to support you in any way I can.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Dr. Kovac.
You've made us all a little emotional, Lisa.
It's like,
It's hard for me too. Those are like close to my feelers, so it makes it a little challenging to sometimes get the words out.
I appreciate how you were willing to be so open and so authentic in your presentation, and it really speaks from your heart. And one thing I've learned about you is you always speak from your heart, you work from your heart, and that is also a commonality I see in individuals who are successful in this space, because success is about connecting with others. And so you, Dr. Mani, Dr. Kovac, you all are very humble. There's a humility there, and also a love for other people and wanting to connect to others. I think it was really interesting you said about inspiring others and inspiring leaders. And I love this because you're talking about world leaders. You're talking about leaders with your partners, leaders in other countries, individuals who are, now leading the respiratory care program in Ghana and all the other places you've touched. And I think that's a really important point to make, because sometimes we're very focused on, America and our students and the domestic population. And certainly we want to inspire leaders here and within our students. But I love the fact that it's always this global lens from you. And I'm wondering, was there, obviously you were inspired by your dad, but was there a moment where you realized that it had to come from, the partnerships and the connections is where it really was so critical?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I observed those partnerships as a young person, but I don't know that I recognized the how essential that they are. Because I saw connections that my dad had, and as I traveled, to Hope and other places, they have a tree planted with a stone with his name and all sorts of other recognition things, and clearly the partnerships, and he would bring those, the Oberbürgermeister, from the city of Hope, and bring them over for these festivals. And so I think I observed it, but I didn't really grasp the depth of really what that meant. I think my connection with Newman, he was my colleague at LDS Hospital before we were in partnership working in China, but seeing, his connection and recognizing that it, for change to happen, And to be impactful, especially in a sustainable way, it requires recognizing and partnering on what that need looks like. And I think from the poem that Dr. Mani Mani loves so much is recognizing, not what I feel you need, but what do you feel you need? And so I think Dr. Sun was very good at that, and he was very good at guiding that connection with our partners at Xi'an Medical University and the affiliate hospital. So I think I had a more personal connection with that at that point. We had many exchanges of, 6 or 7 of their critical care doctors and nurses and other educators would come and stay for an entire semester at our institution. And then we would travel back, and we did a great deal of that in the development. And then clearly, in Ghana and other places that I've traveled to, even in Cambodia, partnering with Sihanouk Medical, the little hospital that they had there, the partnerships were essential. And that's where the growth, I think, occurs. And I would be naive to think that we all give and don't receive, but we definitely, I grow more in my experiences than I think I'm actually able to give. I feel that with every exchange. So I think those partnerships are essential. Otherwise, I feel like experiences would be just like looking into a fishbowl. It
Yeah,
would be just looking through the window. It wouldn't be that deep engagement and
right.
that personal connection and understanding. I mean, I haven't lived in these countries. I'm not native of these countries that I've traveled to, but through those personal connections, I get to get a little glimpse of what that's like. And, every time I go back to Ghana or to any of the other countries I visited, um, I peel back another of the proverbial onion
Yeah.
layers. You get to see more. And, people ask me that question, like, well, you've been to Ghana like what, 27, 28 times. You go to the same places all the time. How is it not like the mundane? But my goodness, it is richer and deeper every time I go. And speaking to the students and providers that travel as part of the group, I mentioned we take an interprofessional group. I think a lot of my growth also comes from our debriefings that are daily
Right.
and
Mhm.
learning from them because they each bring a different lens to that situation. So I've been in, certain places and certain communities more times than I can count, but seeing it through their eyes and helping them navigate their experiences and digest them and find meaning in them, and understand them. I think that's where some of my even deeper growth has occurred. So I'm only here today because of what has been contributed to my professional career by colleagues, mentors, and definitely by students. Definitely by students.
I love you articulate so well something I hadn't really been able to articulate before. And part of the joy of listening to students debrief and share is that it's another layer of understanding the experience. And so you're like in effect learning from their learning. And that's so cool. That's a really, really beautiful way of saying that. I was also curious, what has it taught you about yourself, going back to the same place over and over? What have you learned about yourself?
Um, my goodness, there's so much. I had one person that traveled with me a few years back, um, and it was before I moved to Kansas City, and I don't know, I was going through a particularly challenging thing. I don't know if it was professionally or if it was, I don't know what it was. The situation is irrelevant, but she told me. She had this little necklace on and she took it off and it's like little cheap, little plastic cable, little plastic little emblem on it, and it says you can do hard things. And she gave that to me. She's like, I've worn this for years, but I want you to know that you can do hard things. And I think that encompasses so much. And I don't think I was, growing up, um, I was very conservative.
Mhm.
I didn't want to get up and talk in church for 3 minutes. Like I didn't want to be in front of people. I mean, it was very hard for me. Back in the days of radio, I was the person that couldn't call and like request a song. I was too nervous to do that. I didn't want to call and order the pizza. Like I was a wreck. Like I didn't have that confidence. I didn't have that I guess I was very shy in that way. If I was with a group, it was fine, but if I didn't want to be on stage, I didn't want to be in front of people. And I think part of my personal growth has really come from being in very unique environments, very unique situations, especially when you're leading a group. You know, I don't have anybody to turn to in that moment. And
Right.
so it really kind of puts the pressure on. And I guess I've realized what I'm capable of in ways that maybe had I not had my feet held to the fire in some of those circumstances, I wouldn't have realized. So some of the most challenging things I think have helped me recognize what I truly am capable that maybe I didn't recognize in other circumstances that maybe I could do or that I could handle.
Yeah, I love that. I'm wondering if anybody on the Zoom here listening would like to unmute themselves. Do you have any specific questions for Dr. Trujillo? Questions about the group that she is a faculty leader for the international educational experience that is interprofessional to Ghana? Any specific questions about that? Feel free to unmute yourselves. We're pretty casual here. I have one question. Go ahead. Did somebody unmuted themselves, please?
I can wait. I can wait.
No, I want you to go, please.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you, Lisa, for quite a good narration. Though I was a bit late to join in, I'm sorry for that. But I was touched with everything that I came across. I wanted to ask, I'm coming from Tanzania, but though I'm in America now, so I wanted to know more about the work that you did in Tanzania, because by the time you were explaining, you were just finalizing that part. So I really wanted to know exactly what you did there, and also I appreciate for everything that you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for your question about Tanzania. I wish I could say my experience in Tanzania was longer than it was. It was kind of a brief period, but I spent my time in the beautiful city of Mwanza. It was an environment that was very unique. The city of stone, or I don't know if I said that right, but
Yeah.
just stones and outcroppings of just the environment was absolutely stunning. But I spent some time there, a few weeks doing helping babies breathe training. And so it was with a religious organization that had sponsorship for all of the mannequins, and essentially to be able to take that program to Mwanza. And they had done it in a variety of other locations. I was just partnering with them on this particular location where we did, they had maybe 25 identified master trainers that they brought in for approximately a week worth of training with us. And then the next week, they were then the trainers, as that structure usually goes, where they bussed in a number of individuals, communities who were the midwives or birth attendants or whomever it was that's normally doing the delivering of babies in their respective communities. And this was pretty early in I guess, my career in international things. I think I'd been to Ghana a few times at that point. So it was probably maybe 2010, 8 or 10, something like that I went. But I was impressed with the groups of individuals that they brought in. So we spent the next week
Mm.
watching the trainers that we had prepped teach the Helping Babies Breathe in beautiful Swahili So I learned a couple words. I probably don't remember them now, but we were there to support and watching the passion and just the voracious appetite for education and learning about those little tiny things that are so important in that first minute of life. So it was a brief experience, but it was a powerful one. And yeah, I hope one day I get to go back and visit or do other things because I only got that one little taste of Tanzania, but boy, it was wonderful.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome. Thank
appreciate.
you.
Yeah, in Swahili we say karibu sana, means you're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Karibu sana. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your being on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, it has been a really enjoyable, beautiful time together here, Foundations of Global Health, and truly appreciate your time, Dr. Trujillo. I know how busy you are. I appreciate the honor you gave to Dr. Mani Mani, who is very special to us, um, and the recognition to Dr. Kovac as well. The way you present just speaks to who you are and everything you do. It's just, I feel so fortunate to be able to work so closely with you. And thank you to everyone who attended today. This is our second event celebrating International Education Week. We had a Diwali on Saturday, and we have events the rest of the week. So we hope to see you at one of our other events or presentation. We are tracking attendance, and after the week is over, we are going to have a drawing. I say a drawing. We'll be drawing maybe 10 names, and from those who participants, and you will get a little present from the Office of International Programs. So we appreciate your attendance, and we hope you celebrate the week with us. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.